Welcome to Module 6 of EvolvedHumans Academy. In this module, we focus on leave administration across all major leave types under UAE Labour Law, and why getting these details right matters so much in real HR practice. In the end of the module, you will have the free toolkit aligning with the UAE Labour Laws. You just download it and start working on that. A leave mistake often looks small at first. Then it turns into frustration, a formal complaint, or a grievance that could have been prevented with accurate administration and clear communication. That is why this topic matters. Leave decisions affect pay, records, planning, employee trust, and legal compliance all at once. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the main leave types, apply the correct rules, spot high-risk errors, and manage leave records in a way that protects both the employee and the organization. We will work through annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave, other statutory leave categories, public holidays, common grievance triggers, and the systems that help HR stay accurate. As we go, keep one idea in mind. Strong leave administration is not just about approving requests. It is about applying the law consistently, documenting decisions properly, and knowing when a simple assumption can create real risk. If you are an HR coordinator, a junior HR professional, or an HR learner building confidence in UAE compliance, this module is designed to give you practical, usable guidance. Let's begin with the bigger picture and see why leave administration in the UAE is more complex than it first appears. At first glance, leave administration can seem like a basic HR task. Someone requests time off, the manager responds, and HR records the outcome. In practice, it is much more layered than that. Different leave categories follow different legal rules. The entitlement, timing, proof requirements, pay implications, and protection rules are not the same across every type of leave. That means HR cannot treat leave as one generic process. Each category has to be understood and administered on its own legal basis. In the UAE, the main categories you will handle include annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave, paternity leave, study leave, bereavement leave, Hajj leave, and public holidays. Each of these sits inside a wider compliance framework. HR has to consider labor law, internal policy, payroll treatment, supporting documents, and consistent communication with managers and employees. This is where problems often begin. A manager may assume they can decline a request simply because the timing is inconvenient. That is not always how statutory leave works. When a leave type is protected by law, managerial preference does not cancel the employee's legal right. HR must know when approval discretion exists and when it does not. That principle is especially important in training junior HR teams. If the legal right exists, the process should support it rather than accidentally block it. A simple way to think about this is to separate operational convenience from statutory entitlement. The business can manage workflow, but it cannot rewrite the law. This is why reference tools matter. A high-level leave table helps HR teams see, at a glance, what the leave type is, how much time applies, what evidence is needed, and what protections come with it. Without that structure, leave administration becomes memory-based. And memory-based HR is where inconsistencies, escalations, and avoidable grievances tend to grow. Let's make that concrete. If one employee is asked for documentation that another employee was never asked for, the issue is no longer just leave processing. It becomes a fairness issue. If sick leave is handled as if it were annual leave, or if public holiday planning is inconsistent across teams, HR can end up dealing with disputes that were created by the process itself. So in this module, we are not just memorizing entitlements. We are building the judgment to classify requests correctly and apply the right rule every time. You will also notice that some leave categories are straightforward on paper but difficult in practice. The challenge is usually not the headline rule. It is what happens around timing, evidence, pay, and manager expectations. That is why strong leave administration depends on three things working together: legal knowledge, consistent systems, and clear communication. Legal knowledge tells you what the employee is entitled to. Systems help you track it accurately. Communication helps managers and employees understand what is happening and why. When one of those three is missing, the risk goes up. When all three are in place, leave becomes easier to administer and much less likely to trigger conflict. As we move through the module, pay attention to the differences between entitlement rules and administration rules. A person may clearly qualify for leave, but HR still needs the correct process around it. That process includes correct record keeping, lawful documentation requests, accurate calculations, and good escalation judgment when a case becomes sensitive. We will start our deep dives with annual leave, because it is one of the most common areas where calculation mistakes, wording mistakes, and assumptions about days can quickly create confusion. Annual leave is one of the most familiar leave categories in HR, but it is also one of the easiest to administer incorrectly if the entitlement rules are oversimplified. The first point to understand is that annual leave entitlement changes depending on where the employee is in their service period. In the first year, entitlement builds through accrual rather than immediately appearing as a full annual balance. That means HR should not assume a new employee can automatically take the full annual entitlement early in employment unless the organization has chosen to allow that operationally. From year 2 onward, the statutory benchmark becomes 30 calendar days of annual leave for each year of service. In the first year, annual leave is earned gradually. You don't get the full 30 days immediately. You start earning leave after completing 6 months, and you get 2 days of leave for every month until you finish 1 full year. Once you complete 12 months, you become entitled to the full 30 calendar days of annual leave per year. That phrase matters. It is 30 calendar days, not 30 working days, and that distinction affects how HR calculates and communicates leave balances. Calendar days count every day on the calendar, including weekends and public holidays, while work days count only the official working days defined by the company or UAE Labour Law. HR uses calendar days for legal deadlines like visa processing, contract notice periods, and WPS timelines. Workdays are used for operational tasks such as payroll cutoffs, onboarding steps, and internal approvals. Calendar days include weekends and other days on the calendar unless a different lawful rule clearly applies in a specific context. So HR should be very careful not to switch casually between calendar day and working day language. This is one of the most common administration errors. A team says 30 days, but they process the request like working days. That instantly creates inconsistency. Let's make it practical. If an employee starts annual leave on a Monday and the leave spans weekends, those weekend days may still count within the annual leave period because the legal measure is calendar days. That is why annual leave planning should always be recorded against exact start dates and end dates, not just a rough number of days written in an email thread. A good HR workflow shows the opening balance, the accrued balance where relevant, the requested dates, the approved dates, and the remaining balance after the transaction. When that structure is missing, even a simple annual leave request can produce disagreement later about how many days were actually used. Carryover is another area where HR needs clear control. Internal policy may set rules around whether unused annual leave can move into the next period, but those rules must still sit within the legal framework and be applied consistently. The important administration point is this. If the business has a carryover process, it should be documented, time-bound where applicable, and visible in the leave tracker. Under Federal Decree Law No. 33 of 2021, the rule on carry-forward annual leave is very clear and very strict, and this is exactly how seasoned UAE HR advisors interpret it. The legal rule as per Article 29, which states about the annual leave, an employee may carry forward a maximum of 30 calendar days of unused annual leave if both the employer and employee agree. Anything above 30 days is not a statutory right. It is purely at the employer's discretion. Companies can enforce a use it or lose it policy, but they cannot legally discard leave that the employee was prevented from taking. If the company caused the delay, the leave becomes payable, not forfeitable. This is the end of free session. If you want to get the full session, contact with the team. Now let's discuss about the encashment of leaves. The encashment also needs discipline. HR should know when annual leave can be converted into payment, what the company policy allows, and whether a balance is being used, paid out, or carried forward.